Hello, I'm Sam Rikard.
And I'm Kristen Terrell. This is Desoto County Newsroom, your North Mississippi news source. Absentee voting has begun in an August 2nd election in Olive Branch.
That's correct. Absentee voting has begun, and it's a referendum to determine if the citizens of Olive Branch want to impose a 1% sales tax on hotel and motel rooms, and the proceeds of that, if the referendum is successful, will go toward park improvements only. So absentee voting is underway, and you can vote at City Hall. You contact the city clerk's office if you come into the building. They'll let you vote, and then there'll be a couple of Saturdays toward the end. The last one, July the 30th, where you can come and absentee vote from about 8 a.m. to noon here in Olive Branch at City Hall.
Hopefully we'll have good voter turnout for that.
Right.
Now, there's another change coming to Olive Branch. There will be a literal changing of the guards July 1st when a new police chief takes office. Sam and I sat down recently with Chief Bill Cox to talk about the ideas he has for leading the department.
Well, Chief Cox, you've now been appointed and approved by the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of Olive Branch to become the next police chief effective July 1st. How are you feeling?
Very excited. Looking forward to the time ahead and making a difference and moving our department forward, continuing to build on the great foundation that Chief Gamage laid for us, and moving on in a community-oriented policing model.
Well, I know that you started out down Philadelphia, Mississippi area. Tell us just a little about your law enforcement history.
Yes, sir. Over 20 years in law enforcement. I spent a good bit of my time in Philadelphia. That's my hometown. I was able to rise through the ranks there, worked as a patrolman, made sergeant, detective, and then ultimately made chief of police.
And you came to Olive Branch, and then a family matter, you went back home for a while.
That's correct.
But when did you come back to Olive Branch?
Came back to Olive Branch in 2013 as Major over CID.
Okay. Well, what made you put your name in the hat to assume the role of Chief of Police of the Olive Branch Police Department?
Well, Olive Branch is where I've always wanted to be. Having the opportunity, first of all, to come back to the city as Major was an excitement, and it was a dream come true. Had not had the family issue with health that took me away, I would have never left to start with, because this is where I and my family both want to be. So the opportunity to have the chance to lead the department to the next level is just one that I just couldn't turn down. I thought it was an outstanding opportunity to see the department grow through the annexation and through the opportunities that we have now with technology and advancements in those areas. That the opportunity to grow with the department was just one that I didn't want to pass up.
Well, no organization likes to stand still, likes to continue to improve and all, and you've already indicated that's your goal. What kind of goals and plans do you have?
Well, we're looking forward to the installation of new laptop computers in the cars, bringing in a body camera system that will be brought in very short order. Beyond that, we look to add many other things that the department needs as far as new technology advances, as far as equipment in forensics and other areas that we're looking forward to.
If you had one message that you would like to send to the citizens of Olive Branch at this time, what would it be?
It would be that my door is open, that I'm here to serve this community and our citizens, and that I welcome the opportunity to talk with them and hear the things that they would like to see, changes that they might want to make, issues that they might have, concerns, whatever they are. I would like the opportunity to sit down and talk with each of them and let them know that they're more than welcome to contact me.
One of the issues with every police department, I guess, now is retention. It's a very important issue. Do you have any magic wand that you're going to wave to cure that problem, or just what are your plans as how you might deal with a retention issue?
Absolutely. Retention is a huge problem across the country, and Olive Branch Police Department certainly faces those issues as well. One of the things that I want to address in regards to retention is bringing a sense of ownership for the officers to the department. I feel like if they feel that this is their home, this is their department, and they have a sense of belonging in terms of an investment, it will encourage them to remain. So that's one of the things that I would like to accomplish during my time as chief is encouraging that sense of ownership among the officers.
Well, Bill Cox seems very excited about his new position, and it seems like he really has a plan for moving the department forward.
Well, I think that plan is what got him the job. We did also speak with Chief Don Gamage about the choice of Chief Cox as the new police chief, and we looked back with him on some of the accomplishments during his time as chief since 2009.
Here's that story.
Well, I've always wanted to be a state trooper when I was growing up in high school, and I left high school and I went to college and I got out, and some of the guys that went to school with me, we applied for the highway patrol, and at that time I had gotten married and had a family and was working for a company called PV Electronics. And I was an electronic technician there, and I said, well, I'm going to trooper school. And when I saw how much they was making, I said, I can't feed my family on that. So back then I was making pretty good money at that electronics company, and so I decided to just stay local and keep both jobs. And I started out in my hometown, Forest PD, and went there, and a guy by the name was Jamie Veasley was the chief, and he wanted me to come in and work 8 p.m. to 4 o'clock in the morning on a walking beat, and that's how I got started in law enforcement.
What brought you to Olive Branch?
Well, I was coming. Actually, I was coming to work at Shelby County Sheriff's Office, and I had gone to some in-service training with some guys from Olive Branch and Grayling, King, some more, and I stopped by here and had lunch with them and met Frank Brown, and he convinced me to come here to Olive Branch, and it was a small department then, only about 8 police officers, and I said, well, I don't know if I want to do that, but I came here. I said, I'm gonna try it for a while. I wasn't supposed to start for a month in Shelby County, and so I came here and I said, well, if I don't like it, I still can go to Shelby County. But I got here and then fell in love with Olive Branch, and 30 years later, here I am.
And then what year was that?
That was 1992 when I came to Olive Branch.
Okay. Well, a lot has changed with the city, and a lot has changed with the police department since 1992. That's, 30 years ago, I guess. And you have moved through the ranks and, as I understand it, have served in every position there is in the department, basically, and all. What was your impression? Well, your impression of the department then compared to now. What are the big changes?
Well, like you said, when I first started, we only had 8 police officers. I can remember back in the day, we would go all week and may not get 5 calls for service all week. And but with the growth, we didn't have the technology back then like we have now. That's grown a lot. We was more of a community-oriented police department because we were so small. And so as the years grew, we got away from that, and so when I took over in 2009, I felt like we needed to get back to that kind of policing, and so we went back to more of a community-oriented police department, started community relations division, where we got more in the community, dealing with the people that we serve every day, and so that changed over the years, and I wanted to bring that back, but the biggest thing was just the growth, more police officers, having to deal with more issues that we didn't have to deal with back then, and so those were some of the things that changed over the years.
If you look back over your career, particularly as chief of Olive Branch, what would you say is your biggest accomplishment?
By far is starting a community relations division, where we was able to bridge the gap between the police department and the citizens. From our Citizen Police Academy classes to our National Nights Out, to our LEAD program, our Camp Bill, where we connected with our youth. Just being that community-oriented police department was number one. Second, I think to be Khalil National Accredited was probably the second the most thing I was most proud of, to be national accredited, where we follow our policies and we was able to get our liability lawsuits down because of that, and so that was a huge accomplishment to do that, and so and we've continued to obtain that, and so hopefully that'll continue on.
What words of wisdom will you pass along to incoming Chief Bill Cox?
I told Bill, try to stay consistent. What he do. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Stay in the community. That's key. You have to be seen out there. People wants to hear you. They want to see you, and be very, very accessible to the community. You have to do that.
Well, you've had a long career and a very successful one as a police officer and chief of police of Olive Branch. What are your future plans?
Well, my wife, she's retiring. We're going to take a long deserved break, and we're going to do a little traveling, and we're going to relax for the next couple of years, and then I plan to be on the ballot for the next election to run for alderman in Ward 3.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if we can call that an official throwing the hat in the ring for an election, but it looks like we do have at least one person now, Chief Don Gamage, declaring that he will run for alderman in the next election.
Sounds like a throwing the hat in the ring to me, and I have a little bit of experience with throwing hats and all. Our next news item is one that involves KJ Wright. Now, everybody in Olive Branch knows KJ Wright, Seattle Seahawk superstar, Super Bowl champion, Mississippi State University player, Olive Branch High School player. KJ is bringing a charitable basketball game to Olive Branch this Friday night at 7 o'clock. It's $10 to watch the ball game, and it involves alumni from Olive Branch High School playing against each other. So you'll be able to go out and see KJ Wright, and you'll see all the other Olive Branch High School superstars playing against each other, and all of the proceeds go to benefit the Olive Branch High School athletic program. Next up, I'm going to run over to the green screen, and I'm going to bring you weather and talk about how hot it's going to be over the next several days.
I wish you would talk about how cool it's going to be.
Cool is not in the forecast. The only coolness are you and I, right? Hello everyone, I'm Sam Rikard. You're watching OBTVLive.com. It is Wednesday morning. We start out rather mild with the temperature in the middle to upper 70s all across the area. In fact, we have a heat advisory in effect today, so I thought we'd talk a little bit about excessive heat and what we can do to maybe take care of ourselves, and it's fairly self-explanatory. You've heard this all before. Avoid strenuous activities, especially during the afternoon. Find air conditioning if you can. Wear light clothing. Check on your family members. Neighbors, drink plenty of water, and never leave people or pets in a closed car. Now, this is where the heat advisories are in effect today, and it's in the entire viewing area, all of West Tennessee, eastern Arkansas, most of the state of Mississippi under heat advisories today. The gray areas near Dallas and Nashville, those are air quality alerts today. So yesterday was the longest day of the year. How long was it, you ask? Well, about 14 and a half hours where we are down on the Gulf Coast. They only have 14 hours of daylight, but you see as it progresses all the way up to the Canadian border, those people have 16 hours of daylight at this time of year, all the way up to the Arctic area where it's just 24 hours of daylight. Let's look at our national map, and we see up front back to the west of us, high pressure in charge of the weather right now, keeping us sunny and very hot with temperatures, as I said, right now in the middle to upper 70s early this morning at 5 a.m. Here's the forecast. High today, I think it'll hit 100 here today. High in Memphis yesterday was 101, which tied a record. Winds will be from the west-northwest today, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Skies sunny. Low tonight, 78. 97 and sunny tomorrow, 98 and sunny Friday, 101 and sunny on Saturday. And then on Sunday, partly cloudy skies late in the day, a high temperature 100. A little weak cold front slips through overnight, bringing a 30% chance of showers overnight. Low 74, and then we drop down about 10 degrees on Monday, high temperature of 90. Tuesday, high temperature of 90. I'm Sam Rikard. Thanks for watching. Well, that's the weather, Kristen. It's going to be hot.
I should say it is. I tell you what, I'm having to water things just to keep them alive. Water pretty much daily. When was the last time we had a good rain?
We had, about a month ago, we had a good rain. My gauge shows less than an inch, I think 94/100ths of an inch of rain in the last 28 days. So it's been very, very dry and hot. So I would think it would be very stressful for plants and grass.
Oh,
You have
yeah,
any
and
new
for
grass
people.
that needs to grow?
I actually do. We put sod down recently, and we're watering. So
Yeah,
yes.
you better. But there's nothing like a good rain to make grass grow. It seems to me like that water that's been treated with chlorine and everything else is just not quite what the grass wants. But
Right.
we have to take what we can get this time of year.
So true, and it looks like the only rain chance between now and the 4th of July is this Sunday.
Sunday night,
So
slight chance.
we'll have a very dry, hot 4th of July. I would
Then
think.
it gets hotter and drier after that. And that's all we have for you today.
That's right. We'll be looking next week at some of those 4th of July events coming up in Olive Branch and DeSoto County.
And we will go more in depth with some of these referendums that will appear on ballots in DeSoto County involving sales tax to promote parks and other specific things.
All right. Wonderful.
See you next week.
Thank you for joining us.